Before the roaring crowds, before the trophies, before the Turkish national jersey, there was simply a little girl named Melissa growing up in Cienfuegos, Cuba. And behind that little girl was a family that helped shape the athlete the world knows today. Because Melissa Vargas' story isn't just about extraordinary jumping ability, powerful serves and thunderous spikes. It's also a family story. A story about a mother who stayed beside her daughter when she was still young and beginning a life abroad, a father who was himself an athlete, and a large family home filled with people, music, meals and memories. And perhaps most importantly, it's the story of a girl who never forgot where she came from. Her father, Antonio Vargas, the athlete who saw something special. Melissa's father is Antonio Vargas, and sport was already part of his life long before his daughter became a global volleyball star. Recent reporting identifies Antonio as a former softball and basketball player, while other biographies have described him as a handball player. What is consistent across the accounts is that he was an athlete, meaning Melissa grew up with someone who understood the discipline, competitiveness and physical demands of sport. And according to Antonio himself, Melissa was naturally drawn to sports from a very young age. He has recalled that his daughter always loved sport and that by around 11 she had already entered Cuba's youth national setup and was collecting individual awards. Think about that for a moment. At an age when most children are still discovering what they enjoy doing, Melissa was already showing signs that she could become something extraordinary. Her father wasn't simply watching a child play. He was watching an athlete being born. Melissa was energetic, competitive and constantly active. And volleyball eventually became the sport where all those natural abilities came together. A father who understood the sporting dream. Having an athletic father can make a huge difference for a young athlete. Antonio understood that sport requires more than talent. It requires discipline. It requires sacrifice. It requires showing up when you're tired. And it requires learning how to deal with disappointment. Those lessons would become extremely important later in Melissa's career. Because her journey wasn't going to be easy. She would eventually leave Cuba as a teenager, play professionally in Europe, suffer a serious shoulder injury and experience a major conflict with the Cuban volleyball authorities that kept her away from international competition for years. But long before those challenges arrived, she had already developed something important. A love for sport. And her family was there at the beginning of that journey. Her mother, Oristela Abreu, the woman who stayed by her side. Then there is Melissa's mother, Oristela Abreu. If Antonio helped provide a sporting influence, Oristela became an important source of emotional support. Melissa herself has described her mother as a kind, positive and lively person who has always been by her side. And this isn't just something Melissa says in passing. Her mother was there during one of the most important transitions of her young life. When Melissa began her professional career abroad, Oristela traveled with her and stayed with her. Imagine being a teenager leaving your home country to pursue a professional sporting career. Everything around you changes. The language may be different. The culture is different. The food is different. The training environment is different. You're suddenly surrounded by older, experienced professional athletes. And you're expected to perform. For a young Melissa, having her mother nearby would have provided something incredibly valuable. A piece of home. Oristela was there when Melissa was still young. Melissa didn't enter the international volleyball world as a fully grown superstar. She entered it as a teenager. That distinction is important. She was still developing physically and emotionally when she began playing abroad. Her mother was therefore not just watching from thousands of kilometers away. She was there. She traveled with Melissa during the early part of her professional career and remained with her. That makes Oristela one of the quiet figures behind Vargas' rise. Fans saw Melissa on the court. They saw the powerful attacks. They saw the medals. But behind the scenes was a mother helping her daughter navigate a completely new world. The mother who watched her daughter become a star. Today, Melissa has become one of the most recognizable names in women's volleyball. But for Oristela, she is still her daughter. Melissa has said that after the volleyball season, she returns to Cuba to spend time with her family. And she has also said that her mother is very happy and proud of everything she has achieved. That detail says a lot. Melissa's professional life has taken her around the world. But Cuba remains connected to her family life. No matter how many trophies she wins, there is still a place where she can return and simply be Melissa. Not the superstar. Not Vargas Airlines. Just Melissa, the daughter coming home. She grew up in a big family. Now here's one of the most interesting things Melissa has revealed about her childhood. She grew up in a big family. Melissa has described her childhood home as a place that was frequently filled with people. It wasn't a quiet house. It was lively. There was music, family dinners, friends and a positive atmosphere. And Melissa says those memories remain important to her. In fact, because her professional career requires her to spend so much time away from home, she has said that she often misses her family. That's a beautiful contrast. The world sees a powerful athlete who appears completely comfortable in massive arenas. But behind that confidence is someone who misses the warmth of home. What about her brothers and sisters? This is where Melissa's story becomes more private. There are various websites online that claim to identify her brothers and sisters by name. However, those claims are not consistently supported by strong, primary sources. Melissa's own official website confirms that she grew up in a big family, but it does not provide a complete list of her siblings. So rather than turning internet rumors into facts, it's more accurate to say Melissa Vargas comes from a large family, but the identities and personal details of all her siblings have largely remained outside the public spotlight. And honestly, that privacy makes sense. Her family members did not choose the professional volleyball spotlight. Melissa did. A childhood filled with activity. Melissa's childhood wasn't all about volleyball. She has described herself as an extremely active child, spending her days outside with friends. And she didn't limit herself to one sport. As a youngster, she enjoyed different athletic activities: football, baseball, basketball, and, of course, volleyball. That tells us something important about her development. She wasn't simply pushed into volleyball and told, "This is your future." She genuinely loved movement and competition. She was a sports-loving child first, and a volleyball superstar later. The moment volleyball took over. Eventually, though, volleyball became different. It wasn't just another game. It became the sport where Melissa's natural physical abilities could truly shine. She started playing volleyball around the age of 6. By 8, she was playing on her school team. And by her early teenage years, she had entered Cuba's youth national system. The progression was astonishing. 6 years old, playing volleyball. 8, joining the school team. Around 11, entering Cuba's youth national setup. Teenage years, playing internationally, and eventually, becoming a world-class professional. That's one incredible childhood trajectory. Her family home was her first team. Volleyball is a team sport. And in a strange way, Melissa's family may have been her first team. Her father gave her an athletic environment. Her mother provided emotional support. Her large family gave her a sense of belonging. And the atmosphere of music, dinners, friends and family gave her a childhood she still remembers fondly. Then volleyball gave her a dream. And Melissa took that dream further than almost anyone could have imagined. When the dream took her away from home, the price of becoming an elite athlete is often distance. Training camps, professional contracts, international tournaments, different clubs, different countries, different continents. For Melissa, that distance became a major part of her life. She eventually left Cuba to pursue her professional career. And while that created extraordinary opportunities, it also meant spending long periods away from the people she loved. That's why her comments about missing her family are so meaningful. The bigger her career became, the more her world expanded. But emotionally, home remained home. Her mother saw the difficult beginning. Oristela also witnessed the difficult parts of Melissa's journey. In 2016, when Melissa was only 16, she underwent surgery on her right shoulder after experiencing persistent problems. Cuban newspaper Granma reported at the time that Oristela explained her daughter's condition and recovery following the operation. That was a frightening period. Imagine your teenage daughter, already a rising international athlete, suddenly needing surgery. For any parent, that must have been difficult. And it happened before Melissa's career reached its greatest heights. Before the Turkish national team. Before the European Championship. Before the VNL title. Before the Olympic stage. At that point, everything was still uncertain. From a family home in Cuba to the world stage. Today, Melissa Vargas is known internationally as a Cuban-born Turkish volleyball star. Her official biography lists her as holding Cuban and Turkish nationality, and she began representing Turkey internationally in 2023. But no matter how far her career has taken her, her childhood remains deeply connected to Cuba. And her family remains one of the strongest links to that past. She can travel to huge arenas. She can play in front of thousands of fans. She can collect medals. She can become an international celebrity. But when she returns to Cuba, she can still return to the family environment she remembers. That is something fame cannot replace. The quiet heroes behind Vargas Airlines. When fans hear the name Melissa Vargas, they think of power. They think of speed. They think of her extraordinary jump. They think of the ball exploding off her hand. They think of the nickname Vargas Airlines. But behind the superstar is a family story. A father who was an athlete. A mother named Oristela who supported her daughter and traveled with her during the early stages of her professional career. A large family home filled with people, music and meals. And a young girl who simply loved being active. That was the beginning, the sweetest part of Melissa Vargas' family story. There is something especially touching about Melissa's memories of childhood. She doesn't talk only about trophies. She doesn't talk only about volleyball. She remembers people. She remembers family. She remembers music. She remembers dinners together. She remembers the atmosphere of home. And despite becoming a global athlete, she admits that she misses those moments because her career keeps her away from her family. That tells us something about her. Success may have changed her life, but it didn't erase where her heart came from. From a crowded family home in Cienfuegos to some of the world's biggest volleyball arenas, Melissa Vargas has carried a piece of home with her. And perhaps that's the secret behind the superstar. The world gave Melissa Vargas fame. Volleyball gave her a career. Turkey gave her a new international chapter. But her family gave her the foundation. And that is why, whenever Melissa Vargas takes flight, there is a whole family story behind the woman who made the jump.